Hi guys, and welcome to part 2 of my Ultron Pepakura cardboard build. Now, as you saw in the last video, I went ahead and made this right here. Now, the thing with cardboard builds, the seams are never going to be perfect. You take a look, I can see that too well. There's gaps in the seams and it's very rough, but for a cardboard build, it's pretty good. So that's the next step. I'm going to be making some papier-mâché. I'm going to coat the outside of the cardboard with papier-mâché. Just try and hopefully smooth off the seam lines and just to clean it up a little bit more. Let's go ahead and coat it. Okay, so I'm just going to start off by tearing some newspaper strips to be ready with papier-mâché. Okay, so now that I have a good amount of paper torn up and ready, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to mix the glue and some water into a bowl and give it a stir. There we go. So now we have the mix mixed up. I'm going to go ahead and start dunking the newspaper into the mixture. And before I put it on, I'm just going to get a ring out. We don't need all the excess on there, and we can just go ahead and start laying it to the helmet. Okay, so now that we've just used this first mix up and pretty much got the entire helmet coated, and we'll leave this to dry and set. As you can see, I've put some papier-mâché on the inside as well. I'm going to do a few layers on the inside of like the mouth and the eyes, so that'll give me something to be able to bend the papier-mâché over the edges here, so that I can fill this in. Because when I was just wrapping it around, like I did with the eyes pieces here, it was just kind of peeling back off slowly, so it wasn't sticking. So I just thought I'd give it some kind of backing. And if this isn't sturdy enough, I might actually just take some more cardboard and glue that to the inside of the back, and then just cut it out when needed. But hopefully this should be good enough when it dries and it gets a few more layers. So yeah, that's the first, pretty much the first layer done. I'm just going to wait for that to dry and come back and start to do a second layer. Okay, so now that we pretty much have the first layer done and it's dried, I'm going to start putting a second layer on there. But to make this layer, I'm not going to use the white PVA glue. I'm going to make an alternate version of papier-mâché, just using flour and water. Okay, so I've just laid on the flour and water papier-mâché. As you can see, it has gone on quite lumpy. So hopefully when it dries we can kind of smooth it off. I'm not too sure if this will be able to be sanded once it's dry. There's quite a few lumps of the actual papier-mâché mix. We can try it out, and if not, then I can just go over it with probably a thinner flour and water mix. And then when I get to the final layer, just to make it nice and smooth, to lose all the edges from the newspaper, I will probably just use tissue paper to go over it with a final smooth layer as well. So I'm just going to let this dry, and I'll be back with you guys soon.